Canola School on realagriculture.com is brought to you by Alberta Canola Producers Commission, Sask Canola, and Manitoba Canola Growers.
So, say that this year we do decide to try it, and we decide that maybe next year we'll try it again. What are some ways that we can start off the season right?
I guess one would be to make sure you use an adequate seeding rate. I think a field that I know there's a lot of interest in working with lower seeding rates and things like that, and I understand that, but if you do want a straight combine, I don't think that's necessarily the time to do it, and I think under any conditions that comes with a certain amount of risk. So I would say, make sure you do use an adequate seeding rate. Actually, just a kind of a cool little rule of thumb that will get you very close. If you take the TKW, the 1,000 kernel weight of your canola, and just put that down as a seeding rate in pounds per acre, you'll be very close to, about 115 seeds per meter squared, which is where I like to be with my seeding rates. What else? Plan to control disease. You may want to look into a Liberty tolerant or a Clearfield variety that you will have the option of a pre-harvest glyphosate application. It's not necessarily, it won't add yield, but it can make the operation easier to time and just get the combines moving through the field a little bit more efficiently. And then finally, I guess, watch that crop closely, be ready to go when the time does come. And the other thing that I think is worth at least paying attention to is some of the new varieties here that are being marketed to have improved shattering tolerance. And I know we've seen some variation amongst the existing varieties, but there are a few new ones coming online that, I don't think it's going to be just a green light to let that crop stand out there exposed to the worst conditions imaginable. Like, I think there will be some potential for shattering still, but they are marketing them as reduced shattering potential. It gives growers the option of, well, one, they would be the preferred candidates for straight combining, and if you are choosing a canola variety, it also gives growers the option of delaying swathing. A lot of people will knowingly get in and swath too early because they've got acres to get through, but that is really, almost guaranteeing some yield loss if you swath too early. Where with straight combining, I find it can go either way. It's not always good, but generally we've been quite successful. And actually, just another interesting note, I've got a lot of data showing straight combine versus swath. So we've done this at multiple locations over multiple years, and we've shown quite clearly that overall the average yields are the same for the two harvest practices. We do have individual cases where swathing's a little bit better than straight combining, but we probably have just as many cases where straight combining's got a little bit of an edge over swathing. So that's certainly something that's interesting. I mean, individual results can vary, but the big picture, I would expect equivalent yields with straight combining as we would see with swathing. So the real drive will be, less labor at a busy time of year. I mean, swathing takes almost as much time as combining, or at least it's taking away a man at a very busy time of year. It's always very difficult to get through a large number of canola acres at the optimal timing. So
maybe pre-harvest intervals too that you haven't met.
Yeah, that's right. If you do have, that's an excellent point. If you do have an insecticide application or something going on there where you haven't met your pre-harvest intervals, pre-harvest is the time when you cut that plant. So if you need to delay things. The other thing that I've talked to some very large farmers, and some of these guys refuse to go in and swath too early. So they'll swath as much canola as they can, but they won't get in there too early. They'll keep the swather going 24 hours a day, but when it comes to a point where they start to see excessive shattering or they feel that their canola is too far gone, that's when they'll switch over to straight combining. And it's, to me, that's something that makes a lot of sense. I know for myself, I don't think I would ever switch to 100% straight combining or 100% swathing. I do like a little bit of both. I think the logistics just work. And I think for a lot of growers that would be the case as well. And for someone with a lot of canola acres, it probably won't ever be feasible to straight combine them all because timeliness is very important.